to a deep dive into one of history's biggest mysteries,
Oh, yeah.
the Ark of the Covenant.
Absolutely.
You've sent over a fascinating collection of sources. We've got everything from historical accounts, biblical texts,
Yeah.
archaeological findings,
Yeah.
even explorations into the world of the Knights Templar.
Really cool stuff.
Our mission today is to sift through these sources,
Yeah.
uncover the most intriguing insights, and see if we can track this legendary relic. Who knows? Maybe we'll even find it potentially in present-day Ethiopia.
That would be something else.
So,
That's a big challenge.
yeah, it is a big challenge.
Yeah, worthy of a deep dive.
Let's start with the Ark itself. Why was it so significant,
Yeah.
and what made it potentially dangerous?
Well, the Ark was much more than just a container. The descriptions detail its construction using massive amounts of gold, including a solid gold lid 9 inches thick.
Why?
This suggests a purpose far beyond simple storage. Some scholars even argue that it was a capacitor of sorts, perhaps harnessing a form of energy we've only recently begun to understand.
Oh, interesting.
The strict handling procedures, the special garments, the coverings, it all points to an awareness of its potential power and danger.
You're right, it wasn't just sacred,
Right?
but potentially hazardous to approach without taking precautions. And then there are the accounts of supernatural phenomena surrounding it, flames, clouds, even death.
Exactly. And remember how the Israelites carried the Ark into battle?
Yeah.
It seemed to lead them to victory time and time again, but when the Philistines captured it, they faced devastating consequences. It's almost as if the Ark's power was a double-edged sword.
Yeah, a source of strength for those who revered it, but a danger to those who mishandled it.
Exactly.
So we have this incredibly powerful, revered object at the center of a nation's faith and military strength. Then it vanishes. What happened? Where did it go?
That's the million-dollar question. Interestingly, after the Philistines returned, the Ark is barely mentioned in historical accounts. There's a theory that King Manasseh, who introduced pagan idols into the temple, may have removed it for safekeeping, or even replaced it with a replica to protect the original from desecration.
So it's possible that the Ark we hear about in later accounts wasn't the original at all.
It's possible, yeah.
It makes you wonder how many times throughout history the Ark's location was shifted, hidden, or even its appearance altered to protect it from those who sought to exploit its power.
Precisely, without knowing for sure which Ark we're tracking, pinpointing its disappearance becomes nearly impossible.
Okay, so how do we get from a missing Ark in Jerusalem to Ethiopia being its potential hiding place?
Yeah, that's where the Kebra comes in. It's the Ethiopian national epic, and it claims that Menelik, the son of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, brought the Ark to Ethiopia.
That's quite a journey.
Yeah.
So for Ethiopians, this isn't just some legend, it's woven into the fabric of their history. And according to the Kebra, the Ark has been housed in the Church of St. Mary of Zion in Aksum ever since they even have a monk permanently stationed inside the chapel, chained to the Ark to guard it.
Which demonstrates just how central this claim is to the Ethiopian Orthodox faith. It's a cornerstone of their belief system, not just a historical curiosity. It makes you wonder if the secrecy surrounding the Ark in Ethiopia is in part a continuation of those ancient precautions we talked about.
That's a compelling point, but we're not done with Ethiopia, yet you've also included information about another group with a fascinating connection to the Ark, the Falashes.
Yes, the Ethiopian Jews, they have a long and complex history. But what's particularly interesting for our deep dive is their claim of descent from Menelik Weiss and their strong oral traditions about a special relationship with the Ark of the Covenant.
That seems to tie in nicely with the Kebra and the claim that the Ark ended up in Ethiopia, but what makes the Falashes' connection to the Ark unique?
Well, for centuries, they practiced animal sacrifice, much like the ancient Israelites did in association with the Ark. It's a practice that disappeared from mainstream Judaism centuries ago, but the Falashes preserved it, suggesting a unique link to those ancient practices. It makes you wonder if their connection to the Ark was a driving force in maintaining those traditions.
It certainly adds another layer to their story, but they faced persecution, right?
They did.
Was that related to their claims about the Ark?
Yes. Sadly, the Falashes experienced periods of intense persecution, particularly under Christian emperors. This could have been motivated by religious differences, of course, but some believe it was fueled by fear of a Jewish resurgence, potentially even a resurgence linked to the Ark and its power.
Okay, so I've got a story of an ancient relic disappearing from Jerusalem, reappearing in Ethiopia, and then becoming entangled with the fate of a unique Jewish community. It's quite a narrative already. But then there's the Knights Templar.
Ah, yes. Those enigmatic knights, Their connection to the Holy Grail and their presence in the Holy Land naturally leads to speculation about their potential involvement with the Ark of the Covenant.
So we're back diving deeper into the mystery of the Ark of the Covenant last time we explored its power, its disappearance from Jerusalem, and the intriguing possibility that it ended up in Ethiopia, potentially playing a role in the history of the Ethiopian Jews, the Falashes.
Yeah.
But now we're about to enter the realm of the Knights Templar.
Yeah.
What's their connection to this ancient relic?
The Knights Templar, known for their secrecy and their connection to the Holy Grail,
Yeah.
were active in the Holy Land during the Crusades, a time when access to biblical sites and relics would have been possible. Some scholars believe they might have come across information about the Ark, perhaps even its true nature and its potential power.
Okay, that makes sense. But the Holy Grail and the Ark of the Covenant seem like separate legends. How do we connect those dots?
There are intriguing parallels between figures associated with both Hiram of Tyre. The builder of Solomon's temple was a widow's son. And guess what? Parsifal, the hero of the Grail legend, is also described as a widow's son.
That is a specific detail to share.
Yeah.
Is that just a coincidence, or could it be a clue to a deeper connection?
It's hard to say for sure, but consider this. Hiram of Tyre is a central figure in Masonic rituals, and the Knights Templar were known for their Masonic connections and their interest in esoteric knowledge. What if they inherited or discovered ancient wisdom about the Ark knowledge that was passed down through secret societies and encoded in symbolism?
So you're suggesting that the Templars may have been guardians of the Ark's secrets, protecting them from those who might misuse its power?
Exactly.
Right.
Remember we talked about the potential danger associated with the Ark?
We did.
What if the Templars recognized this danger and sought to safeguard not only the Ark itself, but also the knowledge of its true nature?
Okay, I'm starting to see how the pieces fit together, but how does Ethiopia fit into all of this?
Well, remember the Order of Christ, the Portuguese order with strong Templar connections. They were deeply interested in exploring Ethiopia. What if their interest wasn't just about trade routes and new territories, but was actually driven by a search for the Ark?
So the Templars might have passed on their knowledge of the Ark to their successors, who then continued the quest in Ethiopia. That's an incredible possibility.
And that brings us to one of the sources you provided, the author who embarked on his own journey to Ethiopia, driven by these very clues we've been discussing.
Right. He went full Indiana Jones on this, didn't he? Traveling with a rebel army and navigating political turmoil, all to get closer to the truth about the Ark.
He certainly did. He even managed to cross the border into Ethiopia with the TPLF, a rebel group fighting to overthrow the government at the time.
Wait, the TPLF?
Yes.
That's a pretty significant detail. It seems like he stumbled into a situation that was far more complex and dangerous than just a search for a lost artifact.
Absolutely. He found himself right in the middle of a revolution, with the TPLF in control of the very region where the Ark is said to be housed.
So he had to navigate a dangerous political landscape on top of everything else that takes serious dedication.
He describes feeling like he was meant to be on this journey, that he was caught up in a current he couldn't resist. He believed the risks were worth taking if it meant getting closer to the truth about the Ark.
Wow, that's intense. So he's in Ethiopia with the TPLF heading towards Aksum, the supposed location of the Ark. What happens next?
He had to wait for Timkat, the Ethiopian Epiphany celebration. It's the one time of year when the Ark, or at least a representation of it, is brought out of the chapel and paraded through the streets.
So he was hoping to catch a glimpse of it during this religious festival?
Exactly. He attended the Timkat ceremony, surrounded by thousands of pilgrims, all there to venerate the Ark. It was a scene of incredible religious fervor.
Can you describe the scene for us?
Imagine a vast crowd gathered in a field, chanting, singing, praying priests in colorful robes, carrying ornate umbrellas and crosses leading a procession.
It must have been an overwhelming experience.
And at the center of it all, a cloth-wrapped object representing the Ark carried on the shoulders of priests.
But he didn't actually see the Ark itself, right? Only this symbolic representation.
That's correct. The actual Ark is said to be kept hidden within the chapel, and no one outside of a select few is allowed to see it.
So even after this incredible journey, he was still left with more questions than answers.
He did manage to have a conversation with a priest who claimed to have seen the Ark, but the details were shrouded in secrecy and religious language.
It's like every step forward leads to another layer of mystery.
Yeah.
We've got these tantalizing hints about the Ark's power, its potential connection to advanced knowledge, and now we have an eyewitness account that we can't quite grasp.
It's important to remember that for many, the Ark is a sacred object, not just a historical artifact. Its power and meaning are deeply intertwined with faith and belief.
You're right, it's important to respect that, but as we delve deeper into these sources, we're encountering hints that the Ark might be something more than just a religious relic, something far more extraordinary.
That's right. Some of the sources you provided suggest that the Ark might not be a physical object in the traditional sense, but something far more complex, perhaps even a form of technology we don't fully understand.
Okay, now you've really got my attention. What are we talking about here?
Well, there are accounts of sparks and flames emanating from the Ark, the need for insulation, the destructive power attributed to it. It makes you wonder if there's a scientific explanation behind those seemingly supernatural phenomena.
So are we saying the Ark might be some sort of ancient power source or a device with capabilities beyond our current understanding?
That's one interpretation, and if we consider the possibility that the Ark was more than just a golden chest, it opens up a whole new world of questions about its true purpose and its potential impact on history.
This is getting pretty mind-blowing. What kind of evidence is there to support this theory?
Well, one of your sources draws a fascinating connection between the ancient Egyptian god Thoth and even Isaac Newton.
Hold on, Newton. The guy with the apple and gravity. What does he have to do with any of this? It seems like we're jumping between vastly different periods and disciplines here.
It might seem like a stretch,
Well,
but bear with me. Newton wasn't just a brilliant physicist and mathematician. He was deeply interested in alchemy and ancient wisdom. He believed that ancient civilizations, particularly the Egyptians, possessed knowledge that had been lost over time.
so the guy who practically invented modern science was also dabbling in the occult. That's a pretty interesting paradox.
He believed he could rediscover those lost secrets through his studies. He was particularly fascinated by the Egyptian god Thoth, who was associated with wisdom writing and magic.
Okay, I see the connection to ancient wisdom,
Uh-huh.
but how does Thoth connect back to the Ark?
One of your sources mentions that Imhotep, the legendary Egyptian architect and sage, was often referred to as the image and likeness of Thoth.
Imhotep, wasn't he the guy who designed the pyramids?
He was credited with designing the step pyramid of Djoser, an incredibly advanced structure for its time. What if Imhotep, as the image of Thoth, possessed knowledge that allowed him to achieve such architectural feats, knowledge that was perhaps connected to the Ark of the Covenant?
So you're saying there might be a link between the Ark, ancient Egyptian knowledge, and the construction of the pyramids?
It's a fascinating possibility, and if we consider the Knights Templar and their potential role as guardians of the Ark's secrets, it's not inconceivable that they might have inherited or discovered knowledge passed down from ancient Egypt.
This is getting pretty complex, but I'm starting to see how all these seemingly disparate pieces might fit together.
It's a puzzle with many missing pieces, but the connections are definitely there, and they lead us to question everything we thought we knew about history, technology, and the limits of human knowledge.
So welcome back to our deep dive into the mystery of the Ark of the Covenant. It's been quite a journey so far.
It really has.
We've explored its power, its disappearance, the possibility of it being in Ethiopia, and even potential connections to the Knights Templar and ancient Egyptian knowledge. But now we're trying to wrap our heads around a connection to Isaac Newton. It's a lot to process.
It is, and it speaks to the breadth of your sources. Remember, Newton wasn't just a scientific genius. He spent years studying alchemy and ancient texts. He was convinced that civilizations like the Egyptians possessed advanced knowledge, perhaps even about the true nature of the Ark that had been lost over time.
It's fascinating that someone so grounded in scientific principles was also drawn to the mysteries of the ancient world. So how did Newton try to connect those dots?
Well, one of your sources suggests that Newton saw parallels between the Ark and the Egyptian god, Thoth. Thoth was associated with wisdom, writing magic, the very things Newton believed were encoded in ancient myths and symbols.
Okay, I'm following that, but how do we get from Thoth to the Ark?
Remember Imhotep, the Egyptian architect who designed the step pyramid?
Yeah.
He was often referred to as the image and likeness of Thoth. And the step pyramid itself was an incredibly advanced structure for its time.
Right, so if Imhotep embodied the wisdom of Thoth, and he was able to achieve such incredible feats of engineering, could that knowledge have been connected to the Ark in some way?
It's a bold question, but one worth asking. What if the Ark wasn't just a religious artifact, but a source of advanced knowledge? Perhaps even a technological device?
That's a pretty mind-blowing concept, and you're suggesting that Newton might have believed the Templars, with their connections to the Holy Land and their interest in esoteric knowledge, could have inherited or discovered information about the Ark's true nature.
Exactly. Newton's fascination with alchemy and ancient wisdom wasn't just a side hobby. It was part of his larger quest to understand the universe and unlock its secrets. and perhaps he believed the Ark held a key to that understanding.
Wow, so we've gone from a missing biblical relic to a possible ancient power source to secret societies to Isaac Newton and the quest for universal knowledge. It's quite a journey, but where does it leave us? What does it all mean?
Well, despite all the clues and fascinating connections, the ultimate fate of the Ark of the Covenant remains a mystery. We've explored some compelling theories, but the truth is we still don't know for sure what happened to it, or if it even exists as the form we imagine.
I guess that's part of what makes it so captivating. The mystery endures, and it challenges us to question our assumptions about history, technology, and even the nature of reality itself.
Exactly. This deep dive has taken us from biblical accounts to ancient Egypt, from medieval knights to the mind of Isaac Newton. It's a reminder that there's still so much we don't know about our past, and that the line between science and what we might call the supernatural is often blurred.
You know, it's easy to get lost in the excitement of chasing these mysteries, but I think what's truly valuable is the process itself, the exploration, the questioning, the willingness to consider different perspectives.
I agree. The Ark of the Covenant, whether a real object or a powerful symbol, serves as a reminder that there are still mysteries out there waiting to be explored, questions waiting to be asked, and knowledge waiting to be uncovered.
So, dear listener, we leave you with this final thought. What other secrets are out there, hidden beneath the surface of accepted history? What other mysteries might we uncover if we keep asking questions and keep searching?
And if the Ark truly possesses the power attributed to it, what implications might that have for our understanding of the universe and our place within it? These are questions worth pondering, even if the answers remain elusive.
Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the heart of one of history's greatest enigmas. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and never stop seeking the truth.